Hey, what's up, everybody? BDL44 coming at you with another video. Well, the impossible has occurred. I didn't think it were possible that the Minnesota Timberwolves wouldn't have Rudy Gobert out there for the play-in tournament game, but it has just been announced per Adrian Wojnarowski, that he's not going to be there. He's not even flying to LA. So I guess they're waving the white flag. That's how I'm taking it. LA Laker fans, they going to wave the white flag because there's no way Karl Towns about to stop Anthony Davis from doing anything. Man. That ain't about to happen. I'm telling you right now, all Anthony got to do is step forward, and this series going to go away quickly. This little play-in game, we should be able to win that. It should be over by halftime. They're going to be so depleted, it's not even funny, man. Now, the problem is we have really dumbed it down against teams who have been depleted as of late. Phoenix, we had a close game. Utah, we had a close game. I don't know, man. Maybe this becomes a situation where the Lakers do more of the same. With our season on the line, I just can't imagine they would have that type of urgency. But then again, the attitude of the team has been a little all over the place right now. I don't know, man. But whatever the case may be, no Rudy Gobert. You ain't got to deal with him. Now, the Minnesota Timberwolves, I have no idea what they're going to do. This is not a situation where they can just say, okay, well, we're going to trade Rudy. Ain't nobody want that contract. Not a single soul in the league wants that contract. You were the only team in all of basketball that would probably even consider taking him at that price. And so it's one of those situations where they're gonna have a hard time trying to move forward what it is they have to do. They're probably just gonna lose this little game here and then start their offseason process. Because right now, you can't have a guy that you just traded 5 picks for just so you can have the size to basically guard Anthony Davis, get all the way to the play-in tournament game against Anthony Davis, and not have that player there. That can't happen. That's why I thought it was impossible that it would happen, because no way, if I'm the owner of the team, am I letting my virtues for team, getting along and not punching each other keep me from the main purpose of what I just mortgaged my entire future for. I'm not going to do that. I'm not beating me up because he punched his teammate. I'm not doing that. And that's exactly what Alex Rodriguez would be doing if he suspended this man. But it didn't say there was a suspension. It just said he wasn't flying and he ain't coming. That's what it said. So I don't know if that means that he's just quitting on the team or what. But that was what was read. I read there. It's a nightmare. But the trade to get him was a nightmare. This is just afterwards. The nightmare had already occurred. I just don't think they realized it. Now Minnesota can understand how bad the circumstance they're in actually is. Because Rudy Gobert has not only punched his teammate, but it seemed like he don't even want to play in the play-in tournament game. So trading him would obviously be what I would want to do. And then looking at the field, they're going to be like, give me picks to get him out of here. That's what they're going to tell you. They're going to Westbrook him. The price tag on Westbrook all year long. You have to get 2 picks in order to get rid of him. Isn't that what the field told us for like 3 months? Yeah, that's kind of the price tag on Rudy Gobert, if you ask me. Maybe there'll be a team that wants to take him on, the player, but the contract, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Nobody wants that contract. So that is going to be the case for the Minnesota Timberwolves. They're going to have to hold on to Rudy Gobert. He's obviously not somebody you're going to stretch or waive. He's still an active player who can play very well for you. But if he's going to be disgruntled and demand out, you maybe you find a patsy. Maybe you'll find somebody who doesn't see it the way that I do and will do the same thing you did and value him that way. But I just don't see a world where that's the case. I don't see any teams around there that would think that way. I really don't. You have to find a team that has another contract that they're trying to get rid of, and then what's the point? Why would they want to bring in? It would just be one of those situations where it's like, I like Rudy's better than the one I got type thing. Maybe Miami for Duncan Robinson or something like that. That might be your best bet. Other than that, I'm going to want picks, man. You try to unload that Rudy Gobert contract on me, you don't have the picks to give me to make that something I want. You know what you have to give me is Anthony Edwards. And of course, you're not going to do that. That didn't make any sense. So, hey, you pretty much stuck with Rudy Gobert. The sad thing is, maybe if you would throw in, the player that just broke his hand, if he were healthy, maybe somebody would want to, you know what I mean? It's that kind of thing. Obviously, he is a player that people would want. And you got a few players like Kyle Anderson. I think you could trade him. But he's not the problem. Rudy Gobert is the problem. And the 5 and 6, 7 assets that you gave away to get Rudy Gobert is the problem. So, yeah, like I said, the nightmare already began. All of this is just the aftermath of it. And the only way to save them from this nightmare is if Rudy Gobert suits up and plays in this game. That's the irony of the whole situation. You have to justify the 5 picks, so he has to go out there and be the best version of himself and win you a championship for all of this to make any dang sense. And so that's why I was like, look, this is all wrong. I get wanting to have 2 centers, but you could have just kept Kessler and kept all that other stuff and had an even better player. That's what makes all of this sad. And a lot of people are surprised by that. But if you go back and watch my video, I said that draft day. I was like, yo, Kessler going to be better than him. I told everybody. And now he is. And it's like, look, this is why you don't mortgage your future. Because half the time, the people who are telling you to get so-and-so, it's probably not in your best interest to listen to them a lot of times because they have their own interests wrapped up in what's going on. Anybody that tells you Rudy Gobert is worth what he was worth lied. Just lied, man. Ain't no way around it. You got sold a lemon. And so that's all there is to it. I get it. Doubling down on centers, like I said, I really would have done the same thing. I would have wanted a center next to Karl Towns to pull him down to the 4 and leave it at that. Kessler would have been excellent. Timeline made more sense than everything. That's the sad part. He's closer to Karl Towns' age than Rudy is. It was just a bad basketball, bad NBA assessment decision. Or maybe the worst, actually. That might be a better way to describe it. But this can't end with him being disgruntled. This has to end with him retiring in your uniform. That's the only way this makes any sense. You got to be able to get him to a place where you're happy that he's retired with your team and you put his uniform up in the rafters and voila, that's your 5 picks. Because Rudy Gobert played a Hall of Fame career in a Minnesota Timberwolves jersey. That's the only reason you do this. Because you believe he can do that. You gave away far, far, far too much for anything less than that. Jersey in the rafters type stuff. See what the Lakers did when they pulled in Anthony Davis? His jersey's going up. It's going up. We gave away all them picks and all that. We won a championship. He's going up. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know what teams is doing. That Rudy Gobert thing was so misguided. I like some of the moves that they tried to make to make the team make more sense after that. Getting Conley was a good pickup. He's playing well, but I mean, look where we at. Look where we at. Now look what Conley's going to be playing in a playing tournament game. It's like with no Rudy Gobert. You only brought him here to play with Rudy Gobert. Like, this is a nightmare. My team is going to benefit from it, but I don't even feel like I'm in my own team's situation. I'm separate from that. I'm over here with y'all in Minnesota. This is a nightmare. This is an absolute nightmare. And I'm hoping that something wild in the world, a miracle happens where Luka Doncic demands to come to Minnesota or something, because that's the only thing that's going to save y'all. It's literally the only thing that's going to save you from probably 7-8 years of ineptitude. Because you can't give away that much trade and draft equity in one flurry and get back Rudy Gobert, man. You cannot do that. And that is exactly what y'all did. So, now that you're in this playing tournament situation, the only thing that's acceptable is him getting on a plane and playing in this playing tournament game. That's the only thing that's acceptable. So it's the only thing that anybody should even want to do based on everything that's already been done. You know what I'm saying? So what, he punched his teammate? Who cares? Get on the plane. Because otherwise we just did all this for nothing. We gave away the whole future for nothing. And no matter what you do next year, this was the time for us to make the playoffs, et cetera, et cetera. This was the time we were in a one-and-done situation. So it's like, I don't know, man. I think the only thing that's saving the Minnesota Timberwolves is the fact that if they do lose the game against the Lakers, they still have another game to play. I'd imagine he would be available for that game. I would imagine. But as of right now, he ain't going to be available in the Laker game. And so that is what it is, man. Anthony Edwards deserves better. Free Anthony Edwards. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. I like that player in that place. I like him for the fans. I like the fans for him. I like the color scheme. I like the fact that he has his own team in a place that no one else has really done anything at. That's all wonderful, but they ruined it. They ruined the franchise before he even got a chance to get off the ground, and this is exactly what's happened here. Honestly, y'all, it's a ruined franchise. They have no way to recoup all that assets that they just let go away, and it's going to span over 4 and 5 years. This is going to get worse. It's broken. It's literally broken. The only way they can fix this thing, in my humble opinion, is if they trade Karl Towns for a plethora of picks or trade Anthony Edwards for a plethora of picks. And that is bad. That is really, really bad. But that's what happens when you mortgage your entire future for a piece. It ain't even like that. He's not even like that. He's literally not like that. Unfortunately, that was just me talking about him on the court. I wasn't talking about him quitting on the team, punching teammates. Wasn't considering the fact that he's the same dude that was smearing COVID all over Donovan Mitchell. We ain't even talking about that. That's the guy you mortgage all your future for. First of all, let's talk about that too. That incident should have cost the Jazz at least 3 picks. That incident tarnished Rudy Gobert's name in a time where it was very bad to tarnish somebody's name in that way. He spread COVID. And you let that team fleece you of all of its picks to get that player when his value wasn't even up there at that level anyway? Like, that needs to be investigated, yo. Let's just be honest. Enough. Nobody fleecing nobody. That is weird. That is weird. And the Utah Jazz are going to have a whole future because of it. They're going to be able to put together some of the best talent over the next several years because of it. All those little kids on the World game that we saw yesterday playing next to Bronny. Anybody saw the highlights of that? It was absolutely amazing. All them kids is going to be on the Jazz, the OKC Thunder. What the teams that got all the picks? The Celtics. Those are the teams that I know of that have picks. Pelicans. Those kids are going to be on those teams. Definitely the Jazz. Definitely the Jazz. And it's going to be because of that crap. Timberwolves are going to likely be undoubtedly horrible because they ain't going to have no influx of talent coming in with young players. It's just going to be whatever they can keep based on whatever it is they do here from now. That's what's coming. And then from there, it's just going to be lopsided. Utah's going to be getting good picks every year because of Minnesota. Good years, good pick. It's like, how in the heck did they let Rudy Gobert go for that? How did they let that happen? How the NBA didn't stop that like they stopped the CP3 trade? Ain't no way. They said that, we don't think that this trade package actually helps the Hornets. They're talking about giving away NBA champion forwards and Pau Gasol and Lamar Odom. What are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? Like, and then now we let this kind of crap happen years later. I'm looking up seeing this nonsense. Come on, NBA, get it together, man. Get it together. That Rudy Gobert trade should have been vetoed. That should have been vetoed by 7 owners. It's absolutely lopsided. And look how it panned out. Now look where we at. And dude don't even want to play in the play-in tournament game. It's a one-and-done situation for his playoff life, and he ain't nowhere to be found. I'm just like, man, talk about disaster. That's the biggest disaster. That's even worse than what's going on in Dallas. How you trump Dallas? Y'all held my beer, Dallas. That's crazy. That's crazy. Anyway, I'm going to let it go, man. I think Minnesota's in the dumps. They're probably going to be playing in Vegas in about 3 years, 4 years because of what happened there. And that's just what it is, man. That's exactly how I see it. I mean, Minnesota deserves better. Anthony Edwards deserves better. Free Anthony Edwards. That man need to be playing in a team like Houston or something with a bunch of athletes. He did not need to be up there with their backwards basketball ways up there. No, backwards. They trying to recreate Utah. Utah was trying to tear that down because it was outdated. They went up there and recreated it. What kind of craziness? It's absolutely nuts. And it went down in flames. So yeah, man. And I still want to know, what was homeboy mad at? McDaniels. Because I didn't see the play. I wasn't watching the game. I was watching the Lakers. And all the games, of course, were at 12:30 at the same time. So none of us were able to watch any of the games other than the game that you wanted to watch, unless you had multiple televisions lined up. But nevertheless, for me, it's like, I want to know what got him upset. I want to know what put him in a position to think that it was a good idea to swing and hit a wall. You know, it has no give, bro. No give. You know, unfortunately, I've done this. I'm actually one of the human beings in this world that's done that. I broke my right hand after a basketball game because I was mad at my homeboy for not playing no defense. We were losing to the same people and over again. And, of course, the wall didn't have any give. None. My hand snapped. So it's one of those situations where I've been there. You just got to not do that. That's simply, it's a lesson you can learn the hard way. And a lot of us do. So hopefully he'll bounce back from that. Hopefully his fracture wasn't as bad as mine. But yeah, it wasn't the entire hand that snapped, but it was my pinky metatarsal. I don't know what they call that thing. But yeah, pow. I heard it snap too. It sounded like a baseball bat hit something. My whole bone echoed across the entire property there. But ironically enough, I didn't even know it was really broken. I didn't. I knew I had hurt myself pretty bad, but it didn't register to me that the bone had actually popped. So yeah, it took about a couple of days before I went to the hospital on it. Not a good idea, but it all ended up working out, man. At the end of the day, hopefully it works out for him. He's a basketball player. He needs his hands much more than I do. Simply put, that is not a good injury for a basketball player, to say the least. And to think that his team is going to be down for a center, so that would have been an opportunity for him to feature his talent in the biggest stage, in the biggest arena. So you just got to hate that for the kid, man. It's a really talented player who's on the rise. And I think he would have had a massive game against the Lakers, unfortunately for himself. So fortunately enough for my team, we ain't got to deal with him. We haven't really got to deal with anybody in the Timberwolves team, just but Anthony Edwards and their guards. But you know, I don't take too much pride in that. I would much rather the Timberwolves had finished strong and given us a strong game. I thought that they were one of the teams that I really thought could do something near the end of the season, and I was telling people that, even though I didn't like how they were constructed. They went through a stretch where they showed me they had feisty defensive players. A good continuity amongst Rudy Gobert and those guys. They had figured some things out, and for it to just fall apart like this in a game where they won, no less, I just don't understand this. I don't understand how you do that when the outcome is actual victory. Like, y'all got there. Y'all got to the 8th seed. So nobody's gonna show up. That just tells me that I'm on the right track when I talk about competitiveness. And people having their other things matter more than winning, and other things mattering more than what it is that's ultimately the team goal. You can see that right there in Minnesota. You know, the game wasn't over, but apparently they had mailed it in or were mad at other things that didn't have anything to do with whether or not they were coming together to win. That's what it looked like to me from afar. You know what I'm saying? So the fans end up paying for it. Organizational poor decisions lead to players not being happy, lead to players not being on the floor. It's just is what it is, man. And so this is one of those. A-Rod has to fire some people, man. They sold you a lemon, and now you need a repo man to come fix your team, bro. That's what you need. You need a GM that specializes in getting people out of holes. I swear to you, if you don't get that, you're going to be in that hole for a long time. PDL 44, I thank you all for watching. I'm out.